Chαῖρε, φίλε, and welcome. Today we are in John chapter 3, finishing off verse 4, and this entire page. We've still got quite a few verses left until we're done with this paragraph. Here's our rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through the text. Let's go ahead and get started. Pos dunatai anthropos genethenai geron on. Me dunatai eis koileon tes metros autu deuteron eis elthein kai genethenai. And that's as far as we're going to make it today. Our very first word is not our verb, so we don't care. Moving, however, on to dunatai, we see that it's the same as this one, and since we've already parsed it before previously, I'm going to just leave it blank right there. We know it's present, meaning is able, and I forgot to write that down. Pos, however, moving back to that is, I think it's an adverb, and it just means how. After direct quotes, forgot about that. How able, anthropos, omicron sigma right there, so nominative, singular, and masculine. Man is able. And then looking on ahead, we've got genethenai. This theta right here is another indication to us that we've seen several times before that this is an aorist passive. And then eta, nu, alpha, iota, that is the aorist passive infinitive form. So that's pretty nice. Don't get to see that, or at least I don't get to see that very often, except when looking at the Bible. Aorist, passive, infinitive. How is man able to be born once, showing the aspect of aorist. So this is just a single time event. It's pretty important for theology right there, that word. Geron on. Let's go to on first. So this one should look a little bit weird. It doesn't have the tau to be an article. It's after this thing, which ends in omicron nu. It's not aspirated, so it's not from the relative pronoun hos, he, ho. So what is it? Why, it's Amy. Specifically, the present active participial form of Amy, which follows the same form as normal present active participles. So omega nu is actually nominative. Singular, masculine, present active participle. Too small a word to write all that stuff over. Being, question mark right there, that's semicolon. And then gerontos, I think, is the form for that one. So omega nu is just a third declension nominative singular. Masculine. And this is going to be a predicate with this participle. So this is going to be the subject of the participle. Geron is going to be what's connected to that, and it just means old or old man. So our whole clause is, how is man able to be born once being old? And we're probably going to end up throwing in some indefinite articles in there since it's a question. So that one should work. Let's move on to our next clause. Me dunatai, same thing as here, is able. We're going to hold off on the me until we have the greater context, figure out what exactly is going on in this clause. Got a prepositional phrase right there. Tain koileon tes, change in case right there, so prepositional phrase has to end at that point. Ace is taking the accusative here with eta nu and alpha nu right there. So this is singular and feminine. And this in or into the womb or belly. I think those are the two meanings of that word. Moving on, tes metros. Tes here is clearly genitive. Meter, metros, third declension. So these two go together as genitive, singular, feminine, of the mother. Autu from autos, aute, auto. Omicron, upsilon right there, tell us genitive, singular, masculine, of him, or his. And deuteron is our next word before we come to, looks like 2 more verbs. Deuteron ends on this omicron and new. So we want to see, is there anything that matches with this? So that's genitive, that's feminine, but this has got to be masculine or neuter. So there doesn't appear to be anything that this matches with. So then that means that this is not, in fact, a normal accusative. What we've got here is an adverbial accusative. So just going to treat it as an adverb. A second time is how we would translate that. Now we can move on to eis elthein, which is going to be the object of dunatai, which always wants to take, or almost always wants to take, an infinitive. Epsilon iodono, this is eis erkomai, eis eleuthomai. Or no, I'm thinking of the wrong word, aren't I? Erkomai, eleuthomai. No, that's right. Elthon, yeah, that's correct. So this is a aorist tense verb, infinitive active. So to enter, and since we've already got the ace right there with this prepositional phrase, I don't need to include this in the translation. But this is also going to mean just once. It's got the aspect of the aorist right there. And ganethenai, seen this before right there, so we don't need to parse it again. To be born once due to aspect. Now we have enough information reading through this entire sentence to figure out what to do with that. You should note that we've got that semicolon right there, which means we've got a question. How do we translate may in a question? Well, we can either have it as just plain old negating this, or we can use it properly as it is done in Greek most of the time, I think, in the Bible, and it's sort of untranslated. So if we treat it just as a negative with dunatai, we would translate it, looking for subject, he is not able to enter once into the womb of his mother a second time and to be born once. But if we translate it that way, then we don't get the idea of a question. So what may is actually doing for us is telling us the type of question. And this is I forget the actual official name of this type of question, but it's a negated question. It's it's almost rhetorical. It expects only one answer, and it's going to be a negative. So in Greek, when you see may introducing a question, it's always going to be a question that expects the answer no. Surely this is not the case. You're going to say, no, of course it's not the case. So that's how we want to translate this. So in this case, we do translate may. Surely he is not. I'm going to run through this one more time to make sure that it still makes sense in English. Surely he is not able to enter into the womb of his mother a second time and to be born. Yeah, that works. And then the way that it's asked, he's expecting the answer from Jesus to be, no, of course not. Don't be silly. But we'll see what Jesus says in a later video. Now let's take a look at this in its own, well, in the greater context. From verse 1, not of the Latin, but of the Greek. But there was a man of the Pharisees, Nicodemus was his name, of leaders of the Jews. This man came to him at night, and he said to him, Rabbi, we know that you, having come from God, a teacher, for no one is able to do these signs which you yourself do, unless the God is with him. Jesus answered and said to him, Truly, truly, I say to you, unless someone has been born from above, he is not able to see the kingdom of the God once. The Nicodemus says to him, How is man able to be born once, being old? Surely he is not able to enter once into the womb of his mother a second time and to be born once. So So there we have it. I think the last thing that we want to do is actually clear up some of our English so it sounds a bit better with these two words. Anthropos and the other one that I'll find. Yeah, geron. Well, maybe. So it's a bit awkward to say, how is man? We could do that to talk about all of man, or we could, since this is a question, we could make it more clear in English by adding an indefinite article to fit with, well, the indefinite nature of this question. A man, any old given man. Nicodemus, for instance, Peter, John, James, whoever. So I'm going to stick that in there in brackets. Remember, Greek doesn't have these things. But I think in this case, it really does clear it up, since we're not talking about a specific man, but just a general man. So there we go. I think we are done. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope this has been helpful for you, and I hope you have a good day. Farewell. Hey, you not asleep yet? That's okay. I've got tons of other videos that are equally sleep-inducing. Check them out. Alternatively, you could take a look at this video over here,